Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Okay, let me just see who's here. Oh, we got a small group today. How's everybody surviving?
I am so bored.
Yeah, I hear ya. I hear ya.
I wish the weather would warm up so we could at least get outside a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I keep looking at my deck going, oh my goodness, I want to go out there.
Yeah, we
And
put our furniture out already, just like if it does get warm, we could at least go out and sit out, you know?
come on, baby, get out of here. My dog's whining. Don't ask me why. Whenever I'm doing something, she gets oinky. Hi, Lisa. So, we're going to go over a listing today. Probably more people are going to join us. Let me shrink this down. Now, I realized in the paperwork I sent you guys, I forgot to include I don't believe I included the property condition disclosure. And on that paperwork that I sent you, it would not be needed, but because it was an estate, but any other property, it's always going to be needed.
Erica, am I missing something? Did you send something out?
Yes, I did. Oh, would you stop? Penny, she's a pain. Go on, get in there. She's been out twice and pooped. What is this? Okay, no, okay. Yeah, I sent it out. Let me make sure I've got you on there. You've been getting my other emails, right?
Yeah.
Sandy or Lisa, did you get that?
I don't think so. I was just gonna look at my email to check.
Oops,
I
sorry.
thought I
I
mailed
didn't
it
see
out.
it either.
Seriously. Okay, let me go to my emails.
I got your nice Easter message. That was,
Oh, okay.
no, I didn't get anything.
Yeah, I didn't see a new one from you. I only have the one that says this listing,
Okay, okay. Okay, I'm just reading your email, Kelly. The attorney's going to do the HUD 1 and closing disclosure for Saratoga. That the attorney's going to take care of.
When? With that?
Let me go and look at mail sent. I swear I sent it to everybody. Sent. Okay, I sent it Monday. I sent out the MLS data input sheet. And I sent out I don't know what happened to it. Huh. That's weird. Okay. Well, okay. I'm sorry that happened. So I'm going to go to forms and go over all the forms for a listing. Okay. So the first, you might want to take notes. I thought I sent all the paperwork to everybody, but I did not. What is going to be in a listing packet? The first thing is going to be an agency disclosure. If you're listing a property, it's going to be agency disclosure for buyer seller side. So I'm just going to view it real quick. So this is, you guys all know how to fill out the agency disclosure. You're going to be a seller's agent in this. You're going to have them sign for advanced informed consent of dual agency and designated dual agency, so that if somebody else from our company comes in to purchase the property, they can get a commission, and then also if you bring in a buyer, you can get a commission. Okay, and then you can have them sign it as the seller. So that's the first form. These should all be in the packets. Unfortunately, we can't get a hold of the packets. Let me just search here. The next thing you're going to put in is the listing. Exclusive right to sell listing agreement. Is it this one or that one? Yeah, this one. Standalone form. So this is what you are doing. You're doing exclusive right to sell. And the difference between exclusive right to sell and the other one is called, because I'm having brain farts. Don't laugh at me. At my age, you will have brain farts too, right, Sandy? Okay, this is not an exclusive agency. Now, I'm going to give you an example of exclusive agency. Exclusive agency, did you ever see like a commercial property where it has a Hunt sign on one corner and then it has an MJ Peterson on the other corner? Commercial listings tend to be exclusive agency. And what that means, only if I find a buyer for the property do I get a commission. So if the owner finds a buyer, they do not have to pay a broker. We don't use that. We use exclusive right to sell, but I want you to be aware of the difference. So you're going to put the owner's name, the broker's name, your office address. Make sure you put in Western New York, Metro Roberts. The terms of the listing. Now, just so you know, it says owner's address. Owner's address may be different than the selling address, than the property they're selling. For example, if I have a double, excuse me, in the city of Tonawanda that I'm selling and I live in Grand Island, my owner's address is going to be my house in Grand Island, and then the property address is going to be here. I always ask for 6 months. That's just the way I do business, and the expiration date. Okay. Basically, they're giving us permission to sell the property. The form of the agreement is between the members of the Western New York Real Estate Information Services, LLC, for the placing of property listings in the MLS with lawful authorized persons, meaning that we're going to put in the MLS and that we share the listing with other companies. Define terms. Everything that is important is highlighted in caps. So the amount of the commission, what I sometimes do, and this is just a little trick of the trade, I will put in here the commission is 7% and have it go over already typed up, okay? And then what I will do is I will cross that out and put 6.5 and say, see, I'm giving you a little discount. Sub-agency, some people fill this out as 3%, some people don't fill it out at all. I personally do 0, and I do 0 to broker agency. And we all know what a broker agency and what a sub-agent is. And I do 3 to another MLS. If I'm doing 6 or 6.5 and 7 up here, I do a 3% share, okay? I like keeping the money in my pocket. That's why I go a little bit higher, all right? If you talk to Neil, he will put in here 3 and he will put in here 3. I don't do that. It is totally up to you what you want to do. Someone's just texting me. Make sure it's not somebody for the class. Okay, hang on. I got to text her the meeting number.
Yes, we'll have to put in that. I got it here somewhere.
There wasn't a password for this, was there?
No, I just had the link that
Okay.
I clicked on. I think it was, gosh. I don't know what the date was that you sent it out.
Okay, I'm just sending it to her. So, oh, we got quite a group here.
Good.
Denise did get in. I just go through periodically to see who's here in attendance.
Hello.
Hello,
Finally got in. It took me a while.
that's okay. All right, so I got everybody. All right. Just want to make sure you guys all get credit for the class. So that's why I check periodically. Okay, so that's how we do that. Very
Erica,
important.
sorry, it's Kelly. Can you explain the difference between B and C? Why Neil does C and you don't?
Because in the olden days, we agreed to pay a sub-agent because a lot of people were still working under the guise of sub-agent. I do not want someone coming in to purchase my property that is claiming that they're working for the seller. There are some very, very old school realtors that probably should not be in business anymore that will come in and say they are sub-agents. The problem with a sub-agent is, I remember years ago doing an offer on a property. I was the buyer's agent. The other agent claimed she was a sub-agent. She got to sit in on all the negotiations
Oh,
because she's claiming she's representing the seller. A sub-agent is saying, I'm representing the seller too. You mean to tell me that that if you're working with a buyer, you're going to represent the seller and the buyer's okay with that? That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
So I don't. And as far as broker agency, I won't pay a broker agency. Absolutely not. I will refer it to somebody else, but I will not pay somebody to represent me. Okay? My license is on the line. That's for somebody from another company. All right? That's why I only do B. I talked to Neil about it when we had another manager. She said only do B. Neil says, well, you can do both. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, everyone's got a different viewpoint on things, and you are welcome to do whatever you're comfortable with. All right. If you do sub-agency, that means you could technically represent a buyer for the property as a sub-agent. And I have done that. Say a buyer comes in and they want to buy the property and I'm representing the seller, and I tell them I'm going to be representing the seller, I can do that. Again, that's an alternative to dual agency, but it's very, very sticky. That's another situation where you're likely to be sued. And you've got to be really careful when you do designated dual agency, or if you decide you're the listing agent, you're going to represent the seller with the buyer. You're leaving yourself wide open. All right. So those are reasons why I prefer not to. Again, this is your own business. You do what you want. At the bottom of each page, there's going to be owner's initials and broker's initials. You are an authorized agent. You can initial this and sign this. The only thing you can't initial and sign is if you're doing a release or withdrawing a listing, because there could be monetary compensation involved, and then the broker has to sign it. And for a broker, you are talking Neil or you are talking Jim. That is the only people that are authorized that I know of. Okay. Termination. In the event the owner terminates the broker's authority prior to the expiration date of this agreement, the broker retains its contractual rights. Why did my thing just play music? Okay. What this means is there's several ways to terminate, okay, if they decide they don't want to sell. One is to simply terminate, go to T in the computer. And what that means is we still have possession of the listing until the date it expires. However, the owner is not allowing showings. There is also I think it's the withdrawal, which is basically the same thing. If they expire the listing, meaning I don't want to work with you, I don't want to work with Jim Roberts, I want to take off and go to another company, then we expire the listing or withdraw the listing. I don't do that termination for everything. There's paperwork that needs to be filled out. And as a listing agent, you are able to collect some money from them. I just had a situation where one of my sellers was unhappy with me because the deal folded on their property because I was the messenger and they shot the messenger. And I said, well, I'm going to get $500 from you then to terminate it. So they ended up, so they didn't have to pay that. They went with another, I referred them to another agent from the company and she gave me a referral. So there are ways to not have them just go somewhere else. Okay, any questions on that?
Mm-mm.
We had one agent, just to tell you that one of my mentees did a deal with somebody. They listed the property. And then after they listed the property, they remembered that they had sold it already. Little interesting there, huh? He forgot.
I was just gonna say, how do you forget?
Well, I think what happened is he already had a buyer in mind and they just predated the contract. However, what happened is the agent charged him a fee for her time and she got the money from him. And in that case, I don't think Jim split it either. I think he gave her the whole thing because it wasn't a lot, maybe $250, $500. So he just gave that money to the agent for their time, you know.
Mm.
He does have the right to split it with you. He has the right to split anything with you that you get. He doesn't nickel and dime us to death. So in that case, he gave the whole thing to the agent. When a commission is earned, when we bring about a meeting of the mind. Okay, when we get that contract signed. All right. Also, the commission is due. Let's say the house expired. They did not relist. Very important. They did not relist the property. If someone we brought through that property goes back to buy the property, they're still going to owe us a commission. Okay. I had one case where I showed a property right before it had expired. The owner then called me and said, well, I'm not paying that realtor. I went through that property while it was listed under that agent. Technically, if I had sold it, that agent and their company had a right to have that commission because she did not relist it herself. She thought she was going to be a smart ass. And I hope I'm
Erika?
Yes.
Is there a limitation to that amount of time?
I put in 180 days. You can put in 90, you can put in 60, you can put in 0. You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, very important part B. I said you earned your commission when you come to a meeting of the minds. Although compensation is due under this agreement, may not be paid until the closing sale of the property has taken place. Broker's commission is earned when the broker brings about a binding written contract for sale or exchange of a property with a ready, willing, and able purchaser or exchange party when all contingencies of the contract of sale exchange agreement have been satisfied or waived. Okay? If something happens, they can't get financing, they have an out. Let's say they get ticked off and say, I'm not selling the house now. I don't know if, you can say to them, we brought about a meeting at the mines. You are going to owe us a commission. Is Jim ever going to go after them in court? Again, that little old lady will be on Al Waters claiming that she doesn't have a clue what's going on. She was bullied by that mean, awful realtor. So I doubt that they're going to go after her. You know what I mean? They may send a letter saying, you owe us a commission, blah, blah, blah. But legally, they're not going to pursue it because the damage it's going to do. And you know yourself, you do one good thing and 1 or 2 people out of 100 will talk about it. You do one bad thing and 1 person will tell 100 people that you did a bad thing. It'll be all over Facebook. It'll be all over, how they rate us and things like that. We don't want that.
Eric, I have a question. So are a lot of deals folding right now with the coronavirus and people losing their jobs and all this stuff? Are people,
I had one deal, it was contingent upon the seller finding suitable housing and she could not, and it folded. There are some deals that are folding. Again, in that case, all the contingencies have not been removed because the contingency of getting a mortgage cannot be done. So that is a reason for the deal to fold, that we did not bring about a successful meeting of the mind. And all satisfied contingencies have not been waived. I had a purchaser a while back that they were trying to clear title. She declared time of the essence. They could not close in that period of time. We got all the contingencies satisfied and she went back to her time of the essence and got out of the contract. All
Wow.
contingencies, I would have loved to have gotten a commission on that. All contingencies had not been removed because an added contingency was time of the essence. Okay. If you have a deal going and you use the waiver, which we have to use, and they check that box, you check it. If after 30 days it does not close in the extension period, we have a right to remove the contingency. All right? Or I mean, if it does, they have a right to get out of the contract. All right? So basically, they're giving us permission for the contract of sale or exchange. All officers to purchaser exchange will be presented to owner by broker and the cooperating broker, unless owner gives written authorization anyway. Somebody sends over a contract of sale for your property that's $100,000 and they're offering $5,000. You have to let the homeowner know. Our job is to present all offers, even if they are a joke. Okay? We have to let the owner know. Somebody gives a verbal, you have to let the owner know. All right? Upon the owner's acceptance of a contract of sale, other agreement for the disposition of the property, and does not stipulate the properties remain on the market, broker is directed to: I discontinue marketing efforts, showings, publishes transaction under contract until the home inspection or attorney approval period has been completed, waived, expired, as the case may be, and then publishes pending through the MLS. This is what we do, okay? Some people allow backups. They may publish as pending and submit all subsequent offers. This gets gray to me, okay? I don't like anything that's gray. I like things that are black and white, that are written in stone. So, okay, we sold the property, but we'll take a backup offer. You know, owners should consult with an attorney regarding subsequent offers, because if a binding contract for property already exists, multiple brokerage commission claims may be involved. So you're basically signing your house and selling it twice. Unless it says, if I have another offer that comes in, I will hold it. I will not have my seller sign it. Authorizations and obligations. Broker will undertake to find ready, willing, and able purchaser or exchange for property. If owner so requests, will engage in marketing activities which may include advertisement, showing the property and or conducting open houses, photography of the property, use of images, promoting its sale, placing information on the property in other media. This is them giving you permission to put their house out there so that they can't come back to you and say, I didn't know you were going to take a picture of my master bedroom with the chains and the whips.
Great example.
Well, you know, I mean, usually they take those down, but they're giving you permission to put the house everywhere.
That's funny that you have a usual.
I did a tour of a house once years ago. This is when I first was in the business, when we used to go tour properties, because you only could put one picture in the MLS. And in the bedroom, they had the bondage wall.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my
It was
God.
interesting. We all laughed. Okay, owner consents that the property may be shown at any reasonable time, including evenings, weekends, and shall refer any inquiries concerning the property to the broker. So what this means, and I tell my homeowner, if somebody shows up at your door to see the property, don't let them in. Give them my business card. Owner understands that providing the broker with a key, now this is very important, the key or use of a lockbox to the property does not in any way make the broker the custodian of the property or responsible for the operation, maintenance, or security of the property. The installation of a lockbox is for a benefit of the owner. Okay? Very important that you explain this. We had a case where someone went through the house. We've had a couple cases. But in this case, the owner insisted that they went through his underwear drawers, found a piece of jewelry he had there, and took it. And was accusing the agents of doing it. Now, come on. You're going to stand there and go through his underwear drawer? Or you're going to allow your client to? I don't think so. So we just want to explain that we do not take liability for the property. I tell my homeowner right away, put your good jewelry away. Put it in a safety deposit box. Put it in a squeaky drawer. Somewhere where it's safe and secure that someone is not going to find your jewelry. Do not leave money on the counter. You know, simple common sense things. So this is where they check if they're going to allow a lockbox and a for sale sign on the property. Owner shall furnish complete and accurate information documents reasonably necessary for the processing of the listing into the MLS, for processing the purchaser's mortgage, and for closing, sale, or exchange. During the listing period and from the entry into contract or exchange, they agree to cooperate. Even if the property is vacant, owner is responsible for continuation of utilities, interior and exterior maintenance, lawn care, snowing plowing until the transfer of property. Very important. As soon as they sell the house, I'm turning the utilities off. No, you're not. I'm not cutting the grass anymore. No, you are going to continue to cut the grass. That is their house. We do not take over. Okay? And they also shall comply in a timely manner with such things as delivery of title documents, health department approvals, sump pump certificates, etc. All right? Very important that they know that. You can't imagine how many people say, well, now I sold my house, I don't have to pay my mortgage anymore. No, you don't. You pay your mortgage until the day you close. Okay, use of listing content and license. This is if they do not want the listing published anywhere, they have to do in writing that they don't want some of these things done. Okay? Basically, they're giving us free rein to do whatever we need to do to market the property. Very important.
It's too bad they can't just say that instead of putting a huge paragraph in there.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? It's because everybody, looks for a legal way
A
out.
loophole, yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is that anything that we do, publishing, we own the royalties for it. So they technically, put the house for sale on the market and say, hey, by themselves, because it expired, I want a copy of the Matterport. We own that. We provide that. It's not theirs. Fair housing. You all know about fair housing. We cannot discriminate in any way, shape, or form. Multiple listing service is not an agent. A lot of times companies all they do is they put the listing in the MLS and they have then the homeowner take care of all the marketing and everything else. That is what the MLS system is. What I always stress to them at this point is you are getting the multiple listing service and you are getting an agent who is going to walk you through the entire process. You take into consideration the entire agreement. There are no modifications, disclosure. They're making the following disclosures. They understand the broker and all members of the MLS will be entitled to rely on these disclosures. And their duty is to disclose any changes into this disclosure. They acknowledge that owner is aware of the Home Equity Theft Prevention Act and a part of real property law in the state of New York. So the reason we want to know if the owner's default in any mortgage payment, that they have not unpaid a mortgage for 2 or more months, there's no action pending against the property to foreclose the mortgage, and the property is not shown on an active property tax lien. And the reason why that they do this, the Home Equity Theft Act Prevention Act was prevented to prevent agents from going in, targeting foreclosed properties, and strong arming them to put it on the market. If they contact us, like Jim does the mailings, that's different. They're reaching out to us. If we go and call them and say, hey, you're going to be foreclosed on, you better use me as your realtor, then we're kind of strong arming them. So just be aware of that. In the event that above circumstances change after signing the agreement, the owner will communicate with broker regarding any of these changes. All right, so if they stop paying the taxes, stop paying the mortgage, they need to let us know. Okay, all headings in this agreement for convenience only and are not intended to limit or amplify the terms of this agreement. Notices, all notices, demands, and objections under this agreement shall be in writing and shall be delivered by fax, personal delivery, or first class mail overnight. So if they have a demand or objection, they have to do it in writing. Survival. If the owner shall pass away, basically, they can survive the completion, expire, or terminate this agreement. So the owner's going to sign here, the address, the phone number. Broker, I always write in Western New York Metro Roberts. You can sign this, okay? Very important. You let them know that this is exclusive right to sell. That means if the buyer finds a buyer for their house or another broker finds a buyer, you must pay the agreed commission. Okay? I ask them if they have any questions. I go over exclusive agency, just saying that I'm not offering that. I don't go into great detail. I let them know what exclusive right to sell means. I have them sign. Then there's the attachment to the listing agreement. Now, a lot of these you can speculate yourself for the answers. They are supposed to fill them out, but like I say, a lot of times I speculate. For example, they have title. I hope so. If not, why are they selling? And I'll go over this if I fill it out myself. Is it an agricultural district? It's in the city of Buffalo. I don't think so. Is there a utility surcharge? I have only seen that in very, very rural communities. Is there well water? Rural communities. Is there public water? Usually, yes. Septic system, there are septics around here. And I always tell people one of the closest places for septic systems is right across that bridge to Grand Island. I have all my poop in my front lawn. Public sewers, most properties have that. If they heat with oil or propane, you'll see tanks. If they have gas or oil wells, I have yet to see that. Gas or oil mineral leases, I'd love to have those on my property. Are they in a flood zone? Usually you can tell from the tax information if they are in a flood zone. If they do, they will need flood insurance for the property when a purchaser buys it. I have found a company that does flood insurance for about $1,200. A lot of companies charge a lot more. Radon, has the property been tested for radon? Is it in a special tax district? I have yet to see that. Okay. Maybe if it's in like a preservation district, like I know Linwood Avenue used to be a preservation area, or Delaware, meaning that you cannot, but I don't think it's a tax district. It's the preservation, meaning that you cannot go and just remodel a bathroom and put in all new fixtures. You have to conform to the style of the property. Is it tax exempt? Special tax assessments. The only time I've really seen these is in a brand new subdivision or in a condo. Vehicular access. Is the house on a road? Yes. Is it a shared private road? I've only seen those out in the country where the mailboxes will be all on the road and you drive down and it's a private road, and there must be some type, for a mortgage, there must be some type of agreement to service the road. Shared driveway, you see this in the city of Tonawanda, you see this in Buffalo a lot. Are there any court orders, meaning that do they need another person to sign? Are they subject to bankruptcy, something like that, that they have to have the property checked out before they can sell? And here's bankruptcy. If they're in foreclosure, do they have sufficient funds to close? Are there any code violations? And are they a non-resident alien or foreign corporation? Okay. Lead-based paint, they represent if the house was built prior to 1978, and they're going to sign here. So that's for that. So now I'm going to go to the other forms that are included. Any questions so far?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So
No.
next we're going to do the MLS input sheet. And I'm trying to think, did I miss anything else? Oh, the property condition disclosure. So let me search for property condition disclosure first. Where is it? Oh, here we go. So the property condition disclosure is also included with your listing. This is what the seller fills out. The nice thing is if they are online, they can do this from online. It's just any information that they know about the property, okay? That has to be filled out by them. It has to be attached with all listings. The other thing that we have to fill out as agents is the showing time form, to put it in the computer and allow showings. Because we do use showing time, Jim gives us that service. So the next thing we need to fill out is the MLS input form, is the MLS form. Where is it? MLS, residential MLS, it's for rental. Okay. So this is the form that needs to be filled out with listings. It looks terrifying, all right? It's really not as bad as you think it is, all right?
You helped us fill this out when we did Neil's.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So what you do, what you need to know is R means required. If you find the house previously listed in the MLS, you can copy some of that stuff, all right? So you put the list price. We do not do the VRP is when you see like some other companies listing where they say, okay, they'll take offers starting at 80, and in the comments they put 80 to 120,000. Basically, when they do that, that means that their asking price is 120,000. So what you're going to do is just put in the street number, county. Anytime you see this is a drop-down box. You can fill these in online. You can fill them in by hand. Anything that has an R is required. A lot of this stuff you can get off if it was listed before. If not, it's on the tax information. Listing agent ID is going to be whatever yours is. Showing appointment, all these, broker compensation, private remarks, no showings till after Saturday, showings on Friday only between 1 and 3, 1 day notice for all showings, whatever you want to put. Okay, type of listing. This is not required. The room sizes, I'm going to tell you, as a service to your homeowner, put the room sizes in. And I will tell you why. Because if I'm working with a buyer and they go, I don't know if my furniture is going to fit in this living room. Well, this living room is 14 by 14. How big is your living room at home? Gee, I don't know. I said, go home and measure your living room. Oh, my living room at home is 12 by 12, so my furniture is definitely going to fit into this living room. It's a great tool to work with buyers. It used to be required. Agents have gotten lazy. I always put the room sizes in. It's a little bit extra work, but I always put them in because it will help you sell your listing. It makes your life easier. Have the room sizes. First thing the homeowner's going to do, or the buyer's going to do when they go home, is going to say, how big was that bedroom again? I don't remember. I don't either. Oh, wait, here it is. It's bigger than our bedroom. This will work. It's a little bit smaller than our bedroom. I still think we can squeeze our furniture in there. Fill this out. This is how many bedrooms on each floor and level, exterior condition, what it's built of. This is just tedious work. It's not that it's, not that it's really difficult. Really important. When you fill these out, the more the better. Okay, so if there's exterior walkout and it's a finished and it's a full basement, it's partially finished, fill these all out. I remember searching for a house years ago and my homeowner wanted a full basement. The listing agent only filled out finished. Guess what? That didn't come up in the search for him. And it would have been a perfect house for them because they did not put finished in. All right? So bear that all in mind. More is better. Public remarks. Beautiful 3-3 double in, I don't know, close to all conveniences, updated kitchen and baths, must be seen. If it was listed before, use that as your guide. Look at other listings. Get the words that you like. I always read the public remarks because if I see something, I go, wow, I want to see that listing. I know those are good public remarks. More is better. Don't just put 3-bedroom home on nice street. Put as much as you can. Directions to property. Very important. Additional interior information. Even though this is not required, I fill as much out as I can. Okay? All this has to be filled out. Now, when we get down to here, internet, yes. Internet street address, yes. Third-party commentary, yes. AVM, yes. Don't know what they all mean? Put yes. Okay? Escrow bank is going to be Key Bank. Escrow agent is Western New York Metro Roberts. You have to go and check the taxes and verify them. We talked a little bit about that when we did the hub. If you have a virtual tour or a virtual branded tour, you can put these in. If you have a Matterport, once Nick is able to do that, put that in there. Okay? They do not need to sign this. Okay? Years ago they did. They do not need to sign this. Because a lot of times I fill this out on the computer, by hand, whatever. The only form they need to sign is, let me go back to forms. So once you have the listing, let's say we're lowering the price, okay? This is the MLS change form. You have to fill this out, okay? Only this is an old one, only what you need done. So for example, if you're lowering the price, you're going to fill this out. You're not filling anything else out. You're going to have the owner sign this and submit it to the office. All right? If you're changing the status to pending, we don't do pending. We only do under contract. The office takes care of pending. If you're the listing agent and you want it under contract, as soon as you get an offer on it that's agreed upon, call me, I have permission to go in and change the status of things. I also have permission to go in and change the status of prices, things like that, especially with us working on a skeleton crew right now. Most important is for the MLS change form, you get this signed because it's doing an important change. All right? Any questions on anything? You're all so quiet. Nobody?
I don't have any questions on the listing, but I'm having trouble finding tax records on a property that I looked up yesterday.
Where is the property?
It's in Niagara County, and their website, I don't know, it's not taking me directly to where I need to be. So I went on the hub and I found the website.
What city is it?
North Tonawanda.
North Tonawanda. Okay, so you've got to go to two sites
Okay.
because, so I believe you go to, and you should always be verifying the taxes on a listing. Okay, just letting you know. Close this up. You're going to go to North Tonawanda Ors,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. Search property information. Address?
163 Stenzel, Stenzel.
Stenzel.
Correct. Yeah, I was able to find this page, but it doesn't give the tax amount.
I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes you have to hunt for it. Okay,
Oh, okay. Perfect.
so here's the county tax.
Yep.
Here's the city tax. And what you've got to look for, see, and you can do, select year, show by year billed. But we don't know if this is the true taxes or not.
Yeah.
Exemption detail. Okay, it looks like they're getting, are they older?
I don't know.
Is it something that somebody's interested in buying or possibly listing?
Buying.
So what do they have in the listing?
I don't remember off the top of my head. It's actually a HUD home.
It's a HUD home?
Yeah.
Okay, so exemption, it doesn't have a value. Okay, the other place I would go then is to,
So it looks like they have these this city. The total taxes they have listed on the MLS are 4,059.
yeah, because this is only including the two of the taxes, not including school. Worst case, you have to call.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay, here's another way you can do it. So you're going to go to city and village rates,
You will.
if they have them.
Back to
Now, this
that.
is a pain. This is like Buffalo.
Yeah, I remember doing this for Buffalo. Yeah.
So you're going to go to city of North Tonawanda.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you love it? It's not in there.
Yeah.
That's for next year. Let's go back. Here, let's go to here. So you're going to go by the assessed value and multiply it by 13.702319 to get your city. And then you're going to go to your county and do the same thing. And you're going to go to Niagara County tax rate. Wait, that's not it. County rate is this and the refuge. So you can add these two together and multiply it times that. Now we got to find school. And sometimes this is what you have to do. So now you're going to go to North Tonawanda. So you're going to add the 22.79 and the library together and multiply it times your assessed value. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And what I do is I print these up and put it in the folder so I can show where I got it from.
Okay.
Well, it depends. Now, if this is for your homeowner that's interested when you're verifying the taxes, then I would just give them the amount. I would say the taxes on this are, according to my records, are $4,000, and according to the listing, they're different.
Mm-hmm.
You have someone that's looking to do a HUD home?
Yeah, I'm not thrilled about it, but
Are they paying cash?
no.
They're planning getting financing?
Yeah, so it's their financer, which is Hunt, who's asking me to verify the taxes. And I kind of explained to the lady the issues that she's going to have with purchasing a HUD home, and she still wants to go through with it. So
Is it FHA insured?
it is.
Is it if it's FHA insured, she's going to have to do the repairs. They've already
Right.
put it there on the HUD property.
Yeah, so I already shared with her all the repairs that are required off of the listing.
She cannot do a 203K.
Right, it says no 203K.
And I will tell you why. Because you can't get the people in there for the estimates. They are not all considered vital.
Gotcha.
How did you show it to her? Just through a...
She found it online. She's adamant that she wants to look at this house. I told her that we can't go in and see it, but
Well, you and I will do a one-on-one as soon as we're done. All right?
yeah,
'Cause
I
I
need to
gotta-
talk to her.
Yeah, I'll call you right away.
Okay.
So any other questions?
I do not. Nope.
Okay. Same bat time, same bat channel, Friday morning?
Okay, sounds good, Erica.
Thank you,
Okay,
Erica.
see you then.
Thanks.
Thanks for
Bye, everybody.
joining me. Night.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.